Okay, we're live.
All right. This is the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin regular council meeting of Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020, convening at 9:01. I call the meeting to order. I would do roll call of members of council present. Councillor Collins.
Present.
Councillor Florent. This is
I'm
the
here.
Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin regular council meeting of Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020, convening at 9:01. I call the meeting to order. I would do roll call of members of council present. Councillor Collins.
Present.
Councillor Florent. Carla, are you getting that feedback or is it just
Yes,
me?
I don't know why it's doing that. Just a sec.
Okay, thank you.
Turn it off.
I call the meeting to order. I would do roll call of members of council present. Councillor Collins. Present. Councillor Florent. Carla, are you getting that feedback? Or is
I
it
am.
just
I
me?
don't know why it's doing that. Just a sec.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think it might be better now.
So shall I just carry on?
Sounds pretty good now.
Okay, so I'll roll call. Councillor Collins,
Present.
Councillor Florent,
Present.
Councillor Harper,
Present.
Councillor Bongo,
Present.
shall I just carry on? Councillor Shala,
Present.
Pretty good now.
and we have regrets from Councillor Vermeer. Roll call. Councillor Collins. Carla, I think we have technical difficulties. Councillor Florent,
Present.
Councillor Harper,
Present.
Okay, well, it's live on YouTube, but I don't know.
If I can make a suggestion,
Sure.
mute the YouTube.
regrets from Councillor Vermeer.
YouTube?
Carla, I think
Yeah, mute the YouTube stream.
Okay. It's live on YouTube. I don't know.
If I can make a suggestion, mute the
Copy.
YouTube.
The only option I have is to stop live stream.
Yeah, mute the YouTube stream.
It doesn't have a mute option.
Do you have a web browser open at this moment?
Nope.
How are you watching the stream? I mean, obviously you have your Zoom opened, but then
Right.
do you also have YouTube open on your
No, I do
website?
not. I just hit live on YouTube and that was it. Is it better now?
Okay,
Seems to be okay.
Okay, the only thing I did was turn off the agenda, so I'm not going to be able to show you that.
well, I think if we've got our agenda and it would be posted on the website if anyone wants to see it, so.
When it comes time to showing it, I'll try it again, and if we get the feedback, I'll just turn it off.
Okay. All right, so Councillor Bongo, should I start over?
I don't think so. I mean, everything that you've said so far has been recorded.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're on item 2 of the agenda, additions or amendments to the agenda. Are there any? Hearing none, I would move to item 3 on the agenda, adoption of the agenda. I have that moved by Councillor Florent and seconded by Councillor Harper. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the agenda as circulated for the regular council meeting of September 2nd, 2020. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
For.
and we have regrets from Councillor Vermeer, so the resolution is carried. With the business before us today, this morning, does any member of council wish to disclose a pecuniary interest? Hearing none. On agenda item number 5, we have a delegation. We have Teresa Hobb, President of the Renfrew County ATV Club. Teresa, welcome to our council meeting, and I would hand the agenda over to you at this point for your presentation. So Teresa, go ahead, please. Carla, we don't think,
It looks like she's reconnecting to audio.
okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Teresa.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to restart that because obviously I couldn't hear you, so you couldn't hear me. So, are you ready for me to start? I'm sorry, I didn't catch any introductions. So,
Yes, Teresa, it's Mary Jane Dumas speaking. I'd like to welcome you to our council meeting. And I indicated that you're the president of the Renfrew County ATV Club and that you were going to make a presentation to us. So please go ahead. Thank you very much.
good morning and thank you very much. Just for Carla, could you let me know if you would like me to be sharing my screen or if the presentations are available there to our council members?
If you could share your screen, Teresa, that would be great.
Wonderful. Let me just move it to my larger screen here for us. I am not able to do screen sharing as an attendee.
Oh, okay. I have your PowerPoint here.
Great.
You should see it.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. So good morning. So this morning, what I'd like to do is take an opportunity to introduce you to Renfrew County first and foremost. This is the first time we're doing a delegation to council in South Algonquin. And so take a few minutes just to give you the larger picture of what we're doing for Renfrew County ATV Club. I'd like to talk specifically about the Loggers Loop, which is the trail system in your area. Introduce you to some of the things that we're doing to address landowner concerns, rider concerns, and support riders in our area. And then specifically some ways that we can continue to partner a little bit more so and a little more actively with South Algonquin Council, riders and volunteers more specifically. So let me get started, and I'm just going to put my screen on mine. Great. So if you could go to the next slide for me, please, Carla.
Okay.
So the first thing I wanted to do was acknowledge the fact that we couldn't do this alone. We are a group of riders. We're also a group of volunteers. We currently represent, we're part of the Ontario Federation, which is representative of 20 different clubs across Ontario. And most of those clubs are directly connected, and that is part of the mandate and mission of the Federation, is to try to connect up these clubs. We represent over 9,000 annual members currently that are riding within the Federation. Within Renfrew County ATV Club, we have over 1,000 kilometers, which is half of the Ontario Federation is right here within Renfrew County. We are also members of the Ontario Trails Council, and we are governed by a board of directors that is 17 strong. We're very firmly believing in partnership. It does not, this is not something we can do alone. And so that means acknowledging the fact that it's not just as trail riders, but it's also working with our land use owners, our volunteers, with industry, our tourism partners, and the landowners in order to make this a successful recreation. There's three things that we're looking for your support this morning. One is to help us build community support. We're looking to establish and strengthen a volunteer team and ideally a director for South Algonquin. We have a director that represents each of the areas of our trail system, and we currently do not have a director in South Algonquin. And by doing so, that would help us keep the Loggers Loop trail system that is currently in the Madawaska to Whitney to Lake St. Peter a little bit stronger and make sure that it's well maintained and continue to attract riders to your area. The second one is in regards to ATV route signage. So on South Algonquin roads, allowing us to put up we have an ATV route sign that we are using consistently across the county and across the Ottawa Valley. And this will allow us to let riders know where they should be riding the most safest route to be able to get directly from one trail system to another. So while in South Algonquin, riding ATVs on roads is not restricted at this point, it does allow us to make sure that we can provide riders with the most direct route and the safest route to be able to get from one trail system to another. It also allows us to put points of interest and different trail tourism on our web-based map and allowing them to figure out how to get to your tourism operators. And the third one is confirming trails. I use the GIS software that the County of Renfrew provides to help me clarify where our trails are for the County of Renfrew. This does not, however, extend to South Algonquin. And so if there is some GIS public access that I can use, or perhaps work with some of your property owners or your municipal staff to confirm our trail system where it is currently, confirm that it is all indeed Crown, make sure we're not trespassing on either municipal or private property without having a land use agreement in place. We do have a land use agreement with a number of our municipalities. In fact, I think all but one currently in the County of Renfrew. And so even if it's for things like parking, trailheads, or unused, unmaintained roads, we'd prefer to have a land use agreement with you. And that way it allows us to ensure that as a municipality, you're also covered under our $15 million in liability insurance that we provide our landowners. But it also allows us to do things like proper signage to make sure riders know where they should and should not be riding. It'll also help avoid any trespass issues if we have the proper areas signed. I'm on slide 4.
Okay.
It just speaks to the growth of our trail system. So just to let you know the curve of growth that we've been experiencing, in 2016, we revamped our organization with the Renfrew County ATV Club. Although it had been in existence since 2007, it was mostly predominantly an organization of snowmobilers. And with the growth in the ATV industry and growth in our board, we are now at a point in 2020 where we've just broken 900 members. So these are annual paying members. They pay for an annual permit, even though I should add, they do not need to buy a trail permit for Crown land. So with South Algonquin being much like much of Renfrew County being very heavy in Crown land, we recognize that riders do not require a trail permit currently. Unlike snowmobiles, we do not have legislation in Ontario to require a trail permit on an ATV trail. However, we have demonstrated to our riders, our landowners, the value of purchasing a trail pass. It is our only revenue. And so when they see us making, grading the trails, making significant trail improvements, doing signage, that is all from trail pass revenue. And so we appreciate the support back in the form of purchasing a trail pass. On the right-hand side, you can see we have a specific intent and a mission for each of our years. Since 2015, this year being 2020, of course, with COVID, means we've had significant restrictions in the ability to run events. Normally, we would run a Loggers Loop event up in the Madawaska, Whitney, Lake St. Peter area. So 2020 has really been a focus on our warden and patrol program and on rider and trail safety, where we could not do events. So I'm going to move to slide number 5 and introduce you to the Loggers Loop, which is the trail system in your area. There is a link that you can click on, and that will take you at your leisure to our website. And we have a page that's just dedicated to the Loggers Loop. And it's there to provide information. Really, when we get, I would say, dozens of email a week from riders who are looking to ride in the Ottawa Valley and Renfrew County and ask, where do they suggest they ride? What kind of amenities? What kind of trail tourism operators? Where can they fuel, stay, etc. And so we have a page dedicated to the Loggers Loop. It includes a number of different videos. I would recommend, if you have not been on our trail system, if you're not familiar, take a look. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised at what the South Algonquin area has to offer riders. What's important for you, effective, this has not yet been launched effectively and communicated officially yet. However, we are in the midst of adding 226 kilometers to the OFATV. That should be effective imminently, and that will connect the Hastings Heritage Trail. So this is a memorandum of understanding that has been signed or being signed between the Ontario Federation of ATV Riders and the Eastern Ontario Trail Alliance / County of Hastings. And this is for the Hastings Heritage Trail. So this means that that's going to connect up the 9,000 riders within the Federation, not only to South Algonquin via Renfrew County ATV trails coming in from the east, but it also means that the Federation riders will now be able to connect from the south as well and connect up from that Hastings Heritage Trail to Lake St. Peter and the Loggers Loop. So I would anticipate that this fall and certainly next spring and summer, you will see a significant increase, and we will do everything we can to try to encourage greater ridership in the South Algonquin area. And for that reason, we'd like to make sure that that area is not only continues to be ready to receive riders, but the signage is strong. Riders won't get lost when they're visiting from all over Ontario. And also that we have your trail tourism operators and amenities on our virtual and web-based map so that riders can find those amenities and stay connected to your trail tourism. Our focus here is to try to encourage that stay and play mentality, and also trying to find local riders and local volunteers that can help us with that trail system. You can understand it being a little harder to maintain a trail system if the bulk of our volunteers are in the Petawawa Pembroke area and Renfrew. It makes it very difficult for us sending and finding volunteers willing to drive out to South Algonquin to help keep that trail system strong. So the more we can find a local base to help keep that trail system strong and potentially grow that trail base, the more it will benefit the tourism in that area. On slide 6, and I just wanted to let you know we have conducted a survey of our ridership. So just to give you a glimpse as to who our membership and riders are, 70% support us with a trail permit, and the other 30% indicate that they just purchased a trail permit for an event or a single day. The majority of our riders ride as a family or prefer to ride as a group. Interestingly, and something we've seen, but I think perhaps the public still hasn't changed their culture and their understanding of, is that 58% of our riders are over the age of 46. This is no longer a recreational sport where you see your riders being predominantly in their 20s, predominantly single, with older machines and just using back trails. Recreational ATVing, we now see a significant increase in not only in the cost of these machines, how much people are spending on the trail, the economic spin-off from recreational riding. So this just gives you a bit of a glimpse of our ridership and who you can expect to be visiting South Algonquin through ATV trail tourism. On slide 7, I've provided you with some of the economics of ATV trail tourism. Certainly your trail tourism operators in the South Algonquin area, this is not going to be new to them. They know that this is an opportunity when we look at economic opportunities, and especially when we're trying to attract not only our local riders, but Ontario visitors in days such as this year, where our tourism from Europe and from the US have been curtailed. We are really looking for ways that our Ontario and Canadian riders and Canadian tourists can visit South Algonquin. These statistics are from 2016, compliments of the Ottawa Valley Tourism Association, whom we are a partner of and a member of. And so as those statistics continue to be provided to us, we'll be happy to update them. On slide number 8, I think this is probably more critical for trails that are going through built up areas and more urban areas in the cities of Pembroke, for example, towns of Petawawa, Arnprior, Renfrew. However, what we did do is we did a rider support, not a survey, but a pledge for responsible riding for our riders, and asked them to sign off on a pledge for responsible riding. And interestingly, we also asked them to provide, we gave them 14 different trail etiquette. We do have a trail etiquette document that we use to try to inform not only our members, but all ATV riders on how to share multi-use trails with horseback, with non-motorized walkers, etc. And we asked them to rank their top five most important responsible riding etiquette statements. And you can see the results there on the right-hand side. Certainly trespassing on private property, driving within posted speeds, sharing trails with non-motorized, etc. So on slide number 9, these are ways that we are offering to continue to work in partnership and support South Algonquin. So not only looking for your support in growing the trails and keeping them sustained in your area, but things that we're offering to do to continue to support you. One of them is we do have a fairly robust education program. Our social media attracts over 7,000 views. Our website is well attended. We do offer ATV certified training through the CASI, Canadian ATV Quad Council of Canada. So we do rider safety, we do our signage, we have a technicality rating on our trails. And so that lets riders who are new to South Algonquin and new to our trail system know before they start the trail, is this the trail I should be on? Is this a leisurely, relaxed ride? Or is this going to be a spirited ride that I'm going to need to be a more experienced rider, for example? We also partner for economic growth. We have corporate membership program. We work with our business vendors. We support our landowners. I mentioned I should change this. It's now $15 million in third-party liability insurance. We address hazards and trail concerns. We are a champion for ATV trail tourism. We work closely with the Ontario Highlands Tourism Organization with OTO, and we attend trade shows and events and support not only our trail system, but we bring with us all of our corporate members and trail tourism operators with us in the form of pamphlets, brochures, and partnership. I do have over the next couple of slides, really just some graphics to illustrate the points that I just mentioned. So on slide 10, just giving you some of the ways that we're working for rider safety and trail etiquette. I mentioned the training that we do with rider safety. We partner with the OPP SAVE team and local OPP to address hazards or concerns, whether it's from a landowner, whether it's from other trail users. On slide 11, I've added a couple of facts regarding safety and resident concerns. Again, this came more predominantly out of our trails that are in urban areas. So addressing speed, addressing sound. So I've provided a few facts in there just to try to demystify or look at some of the potentially myths or perceived issues regarding ATV use and ATV use in built-up areas. For speed, to let you know, and we work with our OPP teams and EMS teams to make sure they're aware of speeds and how to enforce ATV speeds in areas. But on a road, there are literally 2 speeds that an ATV should be riding. It's 20 kilometers if the posted speed on the road is 50 kilometers or less, or 50 kilometers if the posted speed is 50 kilometers or over.
Teresa, it's Jane. You're almost at the end of your time, and I'd like to give council some opportunity to dialogue with you as well. So if you could, and it would be much appreciated if you could share your slide deck with us.
Yes, absolutely. So do you not have, are you not seeing the slide deck
Yes,
there?
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And
Just
Carla does have,
I'm sorry, just there's a lot of good information in there that could be utilized in other ways. That's why I was wondering.
absolutely. Anyway. And Carla does have a copy of the slide deck. So please make use of it by all means. The next few slides, slide number 12, slide number 13, and 14 are really just additional imagery, just to let you know some of the examples of how we are working with our landowners, some of the ways that we're partnering and championing for trail tourism. And so I'll take you to our last slide 15, which is my conclusion, and essentially just letting you know and reiterating, here's again, what we're hoping your South Algonquin Council, your local residents will be able to support us with building community support, helping us add to our user experience with ATV routes and identified parking areas, and then confirming our trails for both our, to ensure that the trails that we do have, and we've been asked to add to the trail system, but before we can proceed with more trails, we do need to ensure that we have an ability to maintain them. It's not value added to the rider or to us to just add more trails without the ability and capacity to sign them.
Good.
So that is my conclusion, and I would certainly welcome questions.
Does any member of council have a question or a comment?
Hello, this is Councillor Bongo here.
Good morning.
Hi there. Teresa, thank you so much for your presentation. That was fantastic to hear. I just wanted to ask you if you have contacted the South Algonquin Business Association yet.
I did, yes, I have. So last fall, I came and had coffee with the South Algonquin Business Association at the Mad Mushers. And so we did that in the fall, and we haven't yet, of course, this year. We also have a number of trail tourism operators in Madawaska and Whitney that are corporate members of ours. So we continue to build that partnership, of course, this year being a little bit stalled, but we have, and they are aware, and we continue to look for opportunities to partner.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And just one more question. So you are looking for a community member of South Algonquin to be part of the board? I'm just trying to make sure that I'm understanding it correctly.
Absolutely. So our board is made up of area directors. So we have representation from all of our trail systems and all of our areas of our trails. So when we're making decisions on where to spend our trail maintenance money, we have individuals that can feed us and let us know what the needs of the local community are, partner with local landowners, etc. So currently that voice from representing South Algonquin is actually being done not only from riders themselves that will report in and say, oh, something's happened, or there's some signage that's not correct, but we have a director at large in Peterborough on our board actually. And so he will try to keep his eye on the Loggers Loop, but ideally, yes, to have somebody from South Algonquin on our board would be ideal and a great way to represent South Algonquin.
Perfect.
Any other member of council have a question or a comment?
Mr. Challa here. Thanks.
Go ahead.
Thanks for your presentation. Very informative. Just very quickly, if you could provide possibly an email link where we could make recommendations. But if you're looking for a volunteer, possibly if you were to contact either Carla or Holly, they would be able to put it in our newsletter that goes out fairly regularly, and somebody may step up and if their interest is there and they volunteer that way, you'll certainly get somebody that is in it for the best of all. But I look at your trail and I notice your trail map. There is a road network that will link the Highway 127 or Lake St. Peter to the Mackenzie Lake and all the way back to Madawaska, and you don't have that section. You're missing that on your map. I also these people travel a long way, and wherever there's lunch, like there's lunch in Whitney at various locations, and it doesn't show, it just shows Lake St. Peter. And I don't want to be negative, but I just think that the more good information we have to encourage stopping, and whoever, if there's fuel, there's a good chance there's something else. Variety Star, for example, in Lake St. Peter that goes with the fuel, and it's not just the gas station. So anyway, I had one other question here. How do you work with a lot of these trails, whether they be snowmobile or now the ATV is taken over and joining and whatever, but they were built by loggers, and the operations go back and forth, and they're in an area. And to ensure, is there special signage that you provide that goes up with the beginning of a logging operation for maybe a month and a half, and after it closes, that possibly they're taken down? And so just to ensure the safety for the rider, but also the safety for the logger that's trying to make a living, and everybody has to work together because it certainly generates revenue, and we need all the people in South Algonquin as we can get. So anyway, thank you.
Absolutely. And so allow me to take a brief moment and respond to some of the questions. So with your latest one in regards to the loggers, so we work very closely with the Ottawa Valley logging and forestry industry here. They advise us. Of course, here, most of our logging is done over the snowmobile season, where they're coming in kind of when the ground is harder in the fall and into the spring. So I should clarify our trails. We close our trails on the 30th of November as an ATV organization, and we reopen them on May 1st. That's because we work in partnership with the snowmobile clubs as well to ensure that our ATVs are not riding on groomed trails. And then we also keep it closed in the spring, and that's in partnership with the MNRF and Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry to make sure that we're not destroying trails in that very sensitive spring time period. And we try to encourage riders to wait until May 1st. It is Crown land on a lot of the trails where we can't enforce that, but I think the culture, the more we educate people as to why, the culture is certainly changing. For logging, there's two things that we've done. We've partnered with our loggers for a number of things. Not only do they support us in new trail development, a lot of times they'll go in and create new routes and new roads, which then become, once they're done, ATV trails. But we also partner with them for infrastructure. So a lot of times they will build a bridge for their purposes for the logging. And recently, in fact, I just last night on my board approved an $8,000 purchase for a logging bridge that was put up on a trail system, and we're now purchasing that bridge. We'll then maintain it so that it can continue to be an open trail. So we also have signage that indicates if there's loggers in the area where they notify us. Most often they contact myself as president, and they contact Terry Vaudry as the district manager for the Snow Country Snowmobile region, which includes South Algonquin. So whenever there's logging in the area, they generally will notify us in advance so that we can inform our riders.
Thank you.
To the point about the trail, increasing trails, we would love to see, we know there's an abundance of trails in there. And so having somebody local to be able to point us to those lookouts, those lakes, anything we can do to add to the rider experience and bring more, connect more tourism operators would be wonderful.
All right, thank you, Teresa.
There is a connection there between Lake St. Peter and Mackenzie Lake.
Yes, and there's also a connection over towards Bancroft, which would be great down the road to be able to add to the trail user experience.
And thank you very much, Teresa. I think the information is vital and it's very important and it's very timely as well. I would suggest that with the slide deck available, council can look at it, and I would suggest to council, and we can dialogue about this at maybe another meeting, but maybe we could put this into our economic development committee for further discussion of council, and perhaps again, depending on how council would like to proceed, could invite you back. I think it's very interesting. It's very important to the area. And if we can get those individuals in our community to be our ambassadors and our connectivity to your organization, I think it would be greatly beneficial to the community. So on behalf of council, I thank you very much. It was an excellent presentation. And thank you to you and your organization for the interest and the advocacy that you do on behalf of tourism and recreation in our area. So we will get back to you. And again, thank you very much.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. So we'll go ahead with the next item on the agenda, and that is the minutes, agenda item number 6, and it's minutes of the previous meetings. And the first resolution is the adoption of the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meeting on July 29th, 2020. And I have a resolution moved by Councillor Shalla, seconded by Councillor Collins. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meeting on July 29th, 2020 is circulated. Are there any corrections or to those minutes or comments? Hearing none, I would call the vote on these minutes. Councillor Collins.
For.
Councillor Florent.
For.
Councillor Harper.
For.
Councillor Shalla.
For.
Councillor Bongo.
Or
Okay, so that's carried then. The next item are the minutes of the, I'm sorry, I'm moving around here. Adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 5th, 2020. So I have a resolution moved by Councillor Bongo, seconded by Councillor Florent. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 5th, 2020 as circulated. Are there any comments or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I would call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
four,
Councillor Shala. Councillor Bongo,
Four.
Councillor Shala.
Or,
Thank you, that's carried. And we have the third set of minutes, adopt the minutes of the of the special council meeting of August 19th, 2020. And I have a resolution, sorry, just a minute. A resolution moved by Councillor Harper, seconded by Councillor Collins. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the special council meeting of August 19, 2020 is circulated. Any corrections or comments to those minutes? Hearing none, I call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
four,
Councillor Bongo,
Four.
Councillor Shala.
or,
It's carried. We are now at item 7 of the agenda, committee, staff, and council reports. And I don't think we have any committee reports. Sorry, I'm flipping to get to that page here. So our first staff report was the fire report, and you've had the opportunity to read that. And Chief Kruger is present. Are there any comments you would like to make, Chief?
Morning. No, I have nothing to add unless there's questions.
Are there any questions of council? Okay,
I guess I just have just a general question.
go ahead, Councillor Bongo.
Yeah, so I guess from your perspective, Fire Chief, things are going okay?
Yes. Obviously, a little bit of a setback with the one apparatus. It had to come out of service, but other than that, yes, things are going quite well so far.
Great to hear.
Good. Thank you very much. The next report that we have are from the building department report, and I don't think that the bylaw officer is present, but were there any comments on that report? It shows certainly growth and activity within the buildings and the activity that's going on in the area, and an update on the process for impact reporting. So very good stuff going on there. Any comments from any member of council? I'm hearing none. The next report is from Holly, and obviously she is on holidays. I don't know if there was anything anyone wanted to mention there. She does have in her report that the District of Nipissing Social Services Advisory Board has been in contact with the township through Holly and wanting to know if we are interested in purchasing that portion of the property of the former railroad bed, which goes behind the former Whitney Public School. And if so, we would just give staff direction to work on an agreement with DSAP to divest themselves of that property and make it, take it under our purview as part of the Township of South Algonquin. Any feedback on that, or should we ask staff to go ahead and just see what DSAP is wanting to do, or how they are wanting to go through that process of giving us that property? Or I shouldn't say giving us, I'm not transferring it, or how they would like to do that.
oh, sorry.
Councillor Shala, go ahead.
Yes, you may recall me mentioning, I believe, during our official plan or somewhere along there, it showed that the boundary had changed. And I checked in, I've talked to Holly in the last 2 years, I believe, about it. And I talked to previous councillors, and at the time that were on council at the time, and felt that it never was intended to be transferred to District Social Services Board. So I certainly would hope that there's no charge, but my reason for looking into it at the time and inquiring about it, and I believe I may have even mentioned it at council, is, and that would go back 3 or 4 years, is it's very important to connect it. There's not much point in us having a trestle and a trail network there to the park if we don't have the connection for 400 or 500 feet. And so whether it was, there was, you know, some of these intentions just went wrong or something went wrong and it wasn't followed up with or looked into, but I firmly believe that we should have that link, and that's very important to future development in our community.
I agree, Richard. Any other comment from members of council? I recall that conversation, and we have had some conversation recently within the last year with the Adirondack to Algonquin Trail corridor, and they are certainly interested in tying the part of the Algonquin Park coming down through the village of Whitney, which then ties it into the whole rail system for the rest of the areas. So I would ask council for a straw vote here on this, or just to feedback that you are in agreement that we should have staff go ahead to have this dialogue with DSAP and to get that property.
It's Councillor Collins here.
Yes.
I think that would be an excellent link for bicycle routes as well, as
Absolutely.
and when the park decides to join with us and make that a trail, because that comes right into the village, and people have got refreshments and accommodation right in front of them as they break out that trail. I think it really needs to be open and not engulfed into the DSAB property.
No, and quite honestly, it's not important to them to have that as part of their property. So I think there's a hand being stretched out here and an offer. And the rest of council, I sense that we're in agreement that staff go ahead and work with this with DSAP and get it settled as soon as possible.
I would request that staff bring a report to council regarding the steps leading up to the transfer of ownership. I'm mostly concerned about the monetary portion of it.
Absolutely, Councillor Florent, and I think that would obviously be part of a staff report and the negotiation with DSAP as well, but thank you for that suggestion. In the rest of Holly's report, I don't know if there was anything that anyone wanted to speak to. Obviously, staff have been very busy over the summer, and a lot of work has been accomplished along with COVID. And in item 1, we have not had a response back from the Northern Rural Net in regards to the fiber optic line. So that's why it hasn't been brought forward at this point at this meeting. It was tentative, but there might be feedback, and there hasn't been any feedback on that at this point in time. If there isn't any other comments on the admin report, then I would turn to Dave.
Sorry, Mayor Dumas. In Holly's
Okay.
report, there is talk about improving the connectivity for councillors with dedicated headsets. What
Yes.
does council think about that?
Well, I had asked about that previously at a previous meeting.
At exit 375.
Well,
Sorry,
don't know what-
I lost that.
I don't know what that was. That was, yes, I had mentioned that at a previous council meeting, and I think I would certainly like to explore it. And I think there's a resolution, if I'm not mistaken, that we would go ahead and do this. And I would suggest that perhaps our IT person, personally, I would need some direction on what I would need, so that maybe that individual could help us if each of us wanted to look at that.
Exit the highway.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Carla, I don't know what that background noise is, but anyway. All right, so we're at the portion of the agenda where Dave's work superintendent gives his report, and Dave has a verbal report for us. Go ahead, Dave, please.
Yes, thank you. Apologize for not getting a written report in. We've been a little tied up with getting the road job moving. So I'd just like to start with that. We're on track. We're finishing the gravel today on Galleri. So BEI is telling me as of today that they will be moving in to start the fine grade on Tuesday, and may even start paving as early as Tuesday after the long weekend. And we anticipate probably a 2-day job to pave all 3 roads. And then, restoration work of driveways. And so things are going well despite the rain. I guess there has been finally a formal agreement from the fiber optic line down Gallery. In some ways, the time is running a little short to get that in. It is possible they could still get that line in behind the new paving, providing they take care not to damage anything. I guess we're just still waiting to hear. There was some recent information as of yesterday that they are now expressing interest in providing connection to the houses as part of the agreement. I guess we're just waiting to get more on that. Our winter sand is going to commence right after the long weekend. They're moving in to do that out of our Macaulay Lake pit. Also wanted to mention that you may have noticed there's some large rock that has been placed in the snowmobile trailer parking area on Hay Creek Road. The supervisor from the dam project approached me on Monday and mentioned that the divers had found some significant undermining of the weir on the far side of the structure, and they've had to sort of react quickly to keep the project on track, and they needed a place to put clean rock in order to get transferred over to the dam. And they've reassured us that they would restore the area as soon as they're done. We sort of anticipate that finishing up by the weekend. They're actually working on it right now. The other thing is we are thinking we could have a surplus sale out of the yard to sell the 2 crew cabs. We've had no action on Gov Deals and very little on Kijiji. I think we figured out a way with, our COVID policy and procedures that we could have a surplus sale where people can come to the yard and offer us, make an offer on a few things that we have. So Adam is going to be working on putting that together for the fall. Our new tandem plow truck, I am told, is going to be finished by tomorrow. So we anticipate getting that next week and bringing it back. We had the tender for the new privy returned, and despite reassurances from several contractors, we only received 1 bid, and it is quite high again. So we would like I'll bring some more information on how we may proceed to the asset management meeting. I've been working with the CBO to try and couple them up with an acceptable alternate. And then my final point I'd like to mention is that since our last meeting, we had not had any problems with the privies at JR Booth Park, but unfortunately we have had a return to someone defecating on the floor again just this weekend. And I just wanted to maybe get some feedback from council as how we should proceed. I think we had talked about just locking it, or, we can carry on cleaning it up, but it seems it's the same one every time, so.
That's difficult for sure. There was a suggestion of surveillance there, video surveillance. I don't know how council feels about that. Certainly, it's my feeling, to lock them would probably cause maybe other reactions as well. But I think it's so unfortunate that type of behavior is occurring. Yeah. Any other comments from council? Suggestions?
Have we notified the OPP about this?
Not as of yet, but I could make that move. I mean, as far as trying to do any surveillance, I just don't know, have any idea how that would work.
Yeah.
Someone opens the door, goes in and comes out. And, you know, if we did lock it, it might just move to the change rooms or elsewhere.
That's what I was thinking.
It's easier,
I
to-
think, sorry, Dave, go ahead.
it's easier to clean where it is.
Yeah.
It's a pleasant
You know,
thought.
maybe I agree with Councillor Florent. Perhaps if the OPP just stopped by there and, you know, made it obvious that they were there, you know, visually just take a walkabout, then we could see if that had any impact on the aberrant behavior that's occurring.
Yeah, the only common denominator seems to be happening on the weekend.
Okay.
So I can certainly reach out to the OPP and see if that helps, or even just the presence of a cruiser perhaps, or
Yeah. Would that be agreeable with council that we go with that as the next step in this process and to see if that has any effect? I think
Anything that works is great, but I personally, I think it's, whenever we have a closed session of council, I would think that's where we should talk about what some of that, and because whatever we're going to do, we should be keeping it confidential, and I'll just keep my comments at that.
Okay, well, thank you. We can discuss this further at another time, but I think that having the OPP stop in occasionally would be a good thing, Dave, and I would suggest you go ahead with that.
thank you.
Okay.
That's all I
Any-
have. Unless there's questions.
Any questions of Dave?
I have, if you want to start with whoever at the front, but if I have a couple of questions.
All right, Councilor Miller, go ahead.
I looked at all the work that they've been doing in the community here regarding the new roads, upgrading, and it all looks good, except I feel the culvert at, I believe it's 97 on Paradise Road, it's only a 20-foot entrance, and it almost appears it was put in there a couple of years ago, and it's a new person in the community. And all the like, it's a 20-foot culvert, and all the rest of the culverts are like 30 and 40 feet. And I think it would just, we should extend that culvert either on both ends or communicate with the owner about it and possibly extend it just on one end. But I think if we make them all uniform, it will look good. We've got entrances with on properties there with two driveways. And this one just has this chintzy little 20-footer, and maybe that's all the individual could afford when he built put the entrance in a couple of years ago. I don't know. I've never met him, so but I just think it should be relooked at. And I'll wait to hear what you say later, Dave. And my other concern is, as long as I've lived here and I enjoy going for my evening drives around the community, the entrance across from Mrs. Ruddy's, which is almost at the end of your paved section or just past it, there was always a natural entrance there, 30 or 40 feet, and it's been removed. And I checked the plan, and it says in the plan that it be removed. But if it was removed and requires a barricade as it's there now, tells me that, why do we put a barricade? There must be a hazard. So I just think it's very likely private property. And for us to remove what was a natural entrance for years, wouldn't be that costly. It would require likely the smallest of culverts, but it would just, I think it would look better, and we owe it to the resident that owns the property, if it is private property or accesses private property across a bit of crown. And I just think, like I said, if it requires a barricade, it certainly requires a culvert. And anyway, I don't know what your thoughts are, Dave.
Yep. I'm glad to answer both of those questions. There has been no request from the landowner at 97, but I can certainly approach them and ask them, and maybe they don't know that option is open to them, and we certainly could put an extension on that as part of the road job. So I will see that one through. And to answer the question about the entrance across from Ruddy's at the top end, the removal came at the request of the landowner. They didn't want people trespassing up in their property, and they felt that at this time they would like it removed. So we just left the barricade there until people get used to it, because it has been there for quite some time and a lot of people turn around there, including the grader in the past, but it was a request from the landowner themselves.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Just one other comment. I don't know if we discussed each entrance with other landowners along that road about what size of culverts we put in. So anyway, if you're going to deal with them and communicate with them, appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you,
One
Councillor.
other point. I noticed there's certainly been an increase in the use of picnicking in the community. And I believe we talked when you constructed the bike path in addition to the Memorial Park, that the location between those entrances or out towards the gazebo along that road, that there be additional parking. And there's continually parking along there. And I'm just wondering if, even though you're going to have the bike path or walking sidewalk, if you were calling it paved sidewalk, I think if we were to extend that shoulder out beyond that far enough so people could park, because lots of times that parking lot's full. So I just think it would clean it up maybe and make it, just tie it all together and make it more convenient for some of those people that maybe seniors or disabilities, people with disabilities that can access and park all along through there. So anyway, that's basically what the trail was for disabled persons. So anyway, thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Shalla, and we can put that on a to-do list for the Asset Management Committee for further discussion, if you so like.
Well, that part should be done while the construction is going on.
Well, then I think it should have been planned for before. And Dave, I don't know how you feel about that request at this point in time with paving happening in about 5 days.
We had discussed it a little in the past. I mean, the parking lot has been very busy because of the dam construction. And a number of those vehicles are the people working on the dams and the engineers. I think the concern before was that creating a parking area along here is going to conflict with a sidewalk, because people will park right on the sidewalk. I mean, anything can be done, but at this point in time, we hadn't planned for a parking lot along there. I suppose we'd have to plow it, I guess, or not. I don't know, or we just leave it, but it was mostly conflict between sidewalk and cars, because we'd really have to define it and build you'd probably lose some of the park too.
I'm not talking about building an angle parking. I'm just talking where the cars could park along the edge and look like it's organized. And as far as the people using it, the busiest time there is primarily the weekends. There's no construction going on. As a matter of fact, those contractors that are working on that dam are excellent, the way they put their barricades up, tape it for the weekend so people can access all around that trail. I think they've done a good job that way. So no, it's just busy. There's been meetings. It almost appears there's been ongoing meetings once a month there. Be a couple dozen people under that gazebo at once. So I just think we need, anyway, it would just look more possibly more finished. And it was discussed during the construction of that path down there.
Thank you, Councillor Shell. I would suggest that we put it on the to-do list and let things settle down there and then look at it again and see how it would work once it's been paved. So again, Dave, if that's agreeable with you, we could maybe bring it to a future Asset Management Committee meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
Mayor Dumas, it's
Yes.
Councillor Collins here. Just a suggestion, could we print and laminate a sign for those outhouses saying that they are under surveillance? I mean, I know we're sort of telling lies per se, but it just may deter somebody from doing the disgusting thing that they're doing. I've seen these signs, you know, you are under surveillance, or there are surveillance cameras in the area. It just may be something we could laminate a sign on the door to that privy. Just a thought.
Okay, thank you for that, and maybe give staff the opportunity to dialogue about that and get back to us on it, Councillor Collins. But I think I've seen them too before, and maybe they would help. Anything else then of Dave? Thank you, Dave, and I'd like to convey to you my sincere appreciation, and please relay to your staff the work that they have done on preparing these roads and rebuilding these roads within our township. I commend council. Our works department obviously has the equipment that they need, and the skill and the work ability to do this. And I think that this is unique to small rural municipalities, and I am very pleased with the work of the Works Department and all the staff, and doing these big projects in the summer and maintaining, the day-to-day work of the Work Department is very much appreciated, Dave, and would like that relayed to your staff on our behalf if possible. The next is, there is a staff report that's next in our package, and that's the report from our CAO clerk treasurer in regards to the website redesign proposal. And again, I would like to thank staff. I know Carla and Holly worked on this. I think this is a very professional staff report, and the process that has been carried out to make the recommendation to council as to which web design company that we would go to is very high quality. And I thank you both for your work, and the resolution will follow in regards to this staff report. Are there any councillor reports? Does anyone?
It's Sandra Collins here, Mayor Dumas.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I attended via Zoom the Cross Lake community, their annual general meeting, if you like, and they were very happy with the grading that had been done down to their area there, and were nothing but praise for how the council and the staff have managed the COVID situation, and generally the fact we hadn't put up their property taxes, etc., etc. They were just full of compliments for us, and wanted that the thanks to be passed on to the right people. So we have happy campers at last.
Thank you for that, Councillor Collins. It's very much appreciated, and it's very nice to get that type of feedback. So I'm very happy to hear that. Any other councillors have reports? Okay, so item 8 on the agenda was business arising from the minutes that we had approved previously. Are there any comments or feedback from councillors? Again, I would like to commend our Committee of Adjustment group and the staff that feed into that committee. The reports that came out, the minutes of the meetings, the good work that is being done by staff and council in regards to assisting members of our community in changes to their properties that they probably have been waiting for some time to do. And the fact that we are able to do this in-house through our Committee of Adjustment, I think, is enhancing our community to and letting property owners make changes that they've been wanting to do for some time. So thank you very much for the work of that committee. And I know there's a resolution in our package as well pertaining to processes of that committee, and the work that was done on that report as well, I think is very professional and informative and concise, and it makes the work of our council very much decisions based on thorough background work by staff. So thank you to the staff that did that report as well. So we're at item 9 on the agenda. Is there any unfinished business that any member of council needs to bring forward? Hearing none. We do not have any correspondence or action items which is item 10 on the agenda. Item 11 is correspondence information items, and those were included in the package. I don't know if there's any comment on those, but it looks that the Bill 197 overview from municipal affairs and housing. I know I sat in on one session, and I know Councillor Shala did. I don't know if others had the opportunity, but a lot of stuff seeming to be tidying up or looking at bills that have been around for some time and making changes. And I have confidence that staff are keeping an eye on that for us. Any comments from council? Number 12. Sorry, who is that?
Excuse me, Jane.
Yes, Dave.
Under action, aren't there two policies here to look at under the action section? Shoreline road allowance closure and policy and shoreline allowance application.
That's a report, you're right. And there are resolutions pertaining to that. Was there something,
Right
did
there,
you want to,
yeah.
did you want to discuss something there, Dave?
No, I just wanted to point out to council that these policies that we had prior to this change have been in effect since about 1998. So we thought it was about time to change them. And Tracy took them, modified them. There's no difference in the meaning on them, just that there have been things taken out that didn't apply or don't apply to this time in the 2020. So
Thank you for that, Dave. And that's the type of thing I'm saying that staff are doing for us, our processes and going back. And I mean, you're our historian. You're certainly our historian on shoreline allowances, and to hear that coming back from you, I appreciate it very much. And that's it. To me, it's very clear, it's cohesive, and it's inclusive of everything that we need. So thank you for that. I very much appreciate it, Dave.
Mayor, you must-
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Councillor Shala.
Dave, if you've been involved or assisting Tracy, when I read it over, it appears that you need your neighbor's approval to purchase that shoreline. And in another location, it seems that if there was a dispute, there is a process. You take a direct line. Does that resolve the dispute? So I guess what I'm saying is, because maybe neighbors don't get along, and that happens, should that deny someone the opportunity to purchase their shoreline just because they couldn't get the approval from the one neighbor or the other, or each of the other? And if there's a direct, if the shoreline's all straight and everything is, the lots are all straight, that person, I feel that person should have the right. And maybe you could clarify that for us.
Could you do that, Dave? Can you comment on that?
okay, that part, Councillor Shala, years ago, when we first started selling shoreline road allowances, there weren't many people had bought them. And sometimes we had requested at that time that when a person considered purchasing their shoreline, that they communicate that with their adjacent neighbors and kind of work things out between themselves where they thought that line should go. Now, when that happened, when I was looking after it, I would make an inspection, on-site inspection on just about every one of these things. And Allen Lake was particularly, I would say, difficult because there was so many people on that lake that, you know, had been there for years. They assumed that their property boundaries were located in a certain place. In a lot of cases, that wasn't. So when we asked for that signatures on a proposal to buy their shoreline from their adjacent property owners, the signature from the adjacent property owners, that was kind of to give me a heads up if there was going to be a problem with that property or not. Because once they'd done that, we would give that purchaser the go ahead to get a surveyor in there. And if there were any instructions to that surveyor, I would have something documented that we had maybe had to change a line a little bit. And it's happened before that somebody has built a building not on their actual shoreline. It's encroached on the adjacent shorelines, things like that. And we didn't want to have the person tear the building down. So we just made the line go around a little bit. But that is just to make sure that the adjacent neighbors were aware of what was going on and where the approximate location of the lines would be. And then when it got surveyed, then we have them show, if there was possible, some cases it wasn't, to show their adjacent neighbors on the survey where those lines went. And they could see by the posts, once the surveyor was down there, they could see where the posts were. The straight line business, we like to maintain the original boundary lines of the property and just continue them on down to the shoreline. But in some cases that didn't work because it would be cutting off an adjacent neighbor shoreline. So that's when we put up that the line should be run perpendicular to the high water mark as close as possible. And what we found, that kind of eliminated cutting off people's shorelines and giving them to somebody else next door. So that's why the straight line business was brought in.
I fully agree with that. But all I'm saying is when I read this, it sounds to me like, and I may be wrong, it sounds to me that we're allowing the neighbor could deny the other neighbor an opportunity to actually purchase their property, and it could be on a personality conflict versus something that made sense. So I guess all I'm saying is how before we agree on this, how would we ensure that an applicant, if the neighbor doesn't agree, that council can make that decision based on how it was done before or whatever, so that business can go on and it doesn't delay and continue frustration, etc. So I just forget where it says in here. I've read it and
well, this is why I used to make on-site inspections, Councillor Shella. If a person had a legitimate concern, then yes, we look at it. But just for the sake not liking his adjacent neighbor, that didn't work.
okay, that's fine. That's all I want to hear.
This was municipal property and we could sell it if we wished. And unless, like I said, unless somebody had a real bad problem with it, or there was a legitimate concern, then we go ahead and process it.
See, I look at it and think that notifying your neighbor is excellent because they can get this when the surveyor is there, possibly they can both get the job done at the same time. That's anyway, fine. If it won't deny person the opportunity and then eventually go through, that's fine with me. That's exactly what I
Definitely not. In a lot of cases now, there are individual properties that haven't purchased a shoreline. They're sandwiched between two properties that have. Now there's a common sense, you know, they don't have a choice. The lines have already been run on both sides of their property. They can buy what's between it. So there's a lot of them up there right now that are doing that right now, individuals.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor
Yes.
Dumas,
Go ahead, Councillor Florent.
I have an additional question for Councillor Harper, and I'm very appreciative that he's so knowledgeable on this issue. Has there been any change to the fees charged in this new draft?
No, still $5 a foot.
So we're still working on $1998. Is that correct?
No, that was $2 a foot. That
Okay,
increase came last year or 2 years ago
okay,
to
Thank you.
$5 a foot.
thanks.
And I just have one question too, Councillor Harper. We are pretty close to having most of our shoreline allowances sold. Am I correct in that?
Yeah. There's over 200 and I forget exactly how many, Jane. I hadn't counted up once. There are still a few left.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Thank you, Dave. As reiterate and what Councillor Florent and Councillor Schaller, we're very fortunate to have your memory here and your input into this. So thank you very much. All right, we're at number 11, new business, to commit time and budget to develop a broadband improvement plan. And there is a resolution on the table for that, that staff would go forward and start to develop a work plan in conjunction with council. So I don't know if anyone would like to speak to that, or we could speak to that when we get to the resolution as well. It was something that we have committed to, and certainly I will leave further discussion to when that a resolution is tabled. So we're at number 13 on the agenda, motions of council, and I would read the first resolution. Where are we here? Okay. Is that it? Okay. I've got this resolution moved by Councillor Collins and seconded by Councillor Schaller. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin direct staff to award RFP SA 2020- what is it, 09 website redesign to Valley Web Studio based on the proposed scope of work and the anticipated scoping of the library website. Any discussion on that? I would call the vote. Councillor Collins?
For.
Councillor Florent?
For.
Councillor Harper?
For.
Councillor Bongo?
For.
Councillor Shala?
For.
And that's carried. Thank you very much. The next resolution, I have it moved by Councillor Bongo, seconded by Councillor Florent. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin direct staff to research and develop a work plan for the improvement of broadband internet to be included in the 2021 budget. Any discussion on that? I call the vote then. Councillor Collins?
For.
Councillor Florent?
For.
Councillor Harper?
For.
Councillor Bongo?
For.
Councillor Shala?
For.
It's carried. Thank you very much. The next resolution. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin approve each member of council to purchase additional electronic equipment to participate in electronic meetings to a maximum of $500, receipts to be submitted with expense claims. Any discussion on that?
I have a couple of questions.
Councillor Florent?
Would this include possibly a booster so that we could have better service?
I would have to go back to staff on that. I think when we've received funds for this before, the decision was up to us as to how we wanted to spend it. And I don't know how much a booster costs, Councillor Florent, but I think that would.
They're from $500 up.
Okay.
But I realize there would be some personal gain as well. So I'm not concerned about the amount over 500.
Okay, fair enough. And you had another question, did you?
No, I think that was it.
Okay, fair enough.
I have a question.
Okay, Councillor Bongo?
Yeah, I was just curious as to, as I recall, earlier in this term, we received a technology fund of the same amount, $500. And that, as I understand, that money came from a, I guess it was an idle technology account. And I just wanted to clarify whether this technology grant of 500 per counselor would be coming from the same pool of money, or if this is coming from reserve or from somewhere else.
I can't answer that. I think in the back of my mind, Holly and I had discussed, and I think there might have been some money that came through the COVID funding that we received recently that was also part of the recognition of the technology that council now has to use. But I would ask Holly on a return just to clarify that so that you get the right answer.
I believe that is correct, Jane.
Okay.
I think it says that in Holly's report, in the admin report.
Okay, thank you. I knew I had seen it somewhere. Thank you. Any other questions in regards to that?
Mayor, may I ask how my previous meetings, I wasn't coming in quite clear enough or clear enough. And I'm just wondering how I'm doing today. And I'd be looking for some insight as to how I could improve my system. If it's coming in okay, maybe I don't need to take advantage, or maybe I don't need that at all. I don't know.
On my reception of you, Councillor Shala, it's clear, but it's choppy. And, you know, we do have an IT person on board now for the township. And I would suggest that through Carla to Holly, we just asked that maybe he could meet with us, any of us that felt we needed the advice and help you maybe look at what's happening with your reception or how you're coming through, Richard. And, you know, help us with gearing up so that we're comfortable with what we got and we know that it's working properly for us. So
is it acceptable, what you're hearing today?
Yes, you haven't faded out or anything. It's just, as I say, a little choppy. The voice is a little choppy, but you're coming through clear. Is Richard being heard to the rest of council all right?
I can hear Richard well. I can see him beautifully. A lovely face there, Richard. But you're actually crackling. It's as though your microphone is not functioning properly. It just seems to be breaking up, and I think it might be the microphone on your tablet or your computer or what have you. So a headset with a microphone may well eradicate the problem. I don't think it's your internet feed. I think it's more to do with a microphone in your tablet or your computer.
Well, I have a portable mic, so possibly that's what the problem is, and so maybe I'm going to have to bite the bullet and use that $500 and whatever, and cover the rest of it whichever way I see fit to. But what I would do is try to get somebody else's computer and through from a family member or someone else, and try it for a meeting to see if it's going to change, because I just don't want to spend the money if it's not going to improve the system. So if somebody has a more modern system than what I have, then maybe I should change. Anyway, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you to Councillor Collins, much appreciated. All right, so I would call the vote on that resolution. Councillor Collins?
For.
Councillor Florent?
I'm for it, but could you repeat who it was moved and seconded by, please?
I'll read that all over again. Councillor Bongo, moved by Councillor Bongo, seconded by Councillor Shala. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin approve each member of council to purchase additional electronic equipment to participate in electronic meetings to a maximum of $500, receipts to be submitted with expense claims. Councillor Collins has voted for. Councillor Florent?
For.
Councillor Harper?
For.
Councillor Bongo?
For.
Councillor Shala?
For.
It's carried. The next resolution is moved by Councillor Shala, seconded by Councillor Florent. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin authorizes the CAO Clerk Treasurer to write off property tax owing for the Erie landfill site, roll number 4801 010 42000 and 4 more 000 for the amount of $896.65. And this also was covered in Holly's report. Any discussion on this? I would call the vote. Councillor Collins?
For.
Councillor Florent?
For.
Councillor Harper?
For.
Councillor Bongo?
For.
Councillor Shala?
For.
Carried. The next resolution is moved by Councillor Florent, seconded by Councillor Harper. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin hereby accepts the updated Shore Road allowance closure application and the sale policy for abutting owners. Any further discussion on this? I would call the vote. Councillor Collins?
For.
Councillor Florent?
For.
Counselor Harper,
For.
Counselor Bongo,
Or
Counselor Shala.
Or,
It's carried. The next resolution moved by Counselor Collins, seconded by Counselor Bongo. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin hereby authorize staff to proceed with the application received for the purchase of the 66-foot unopened road allowance in front of Dickens Concession 13, PT Lot 16, PCL 1874-3, NIP in the geographic township of Dickens, locally known as 152 Denison Bay Road. Discussion?
That particular piece of property in front of that lot is and I just point out, is unopened road allowance. It's not shoreline allowance. The road allowance between lots 13 and 14 come down through there. So it's going to be an unopened road allowance. And there is also a very slim piece on the lake side of that unopened road allowance that is actual shoreline allowance. So it's actually two pieces of property in there owned by the municipality. There is no policy right now for the purchase of unopened road allowance. That's kind of determined if we can find an alternate access, things like that, then we sell them. So I would suggest that get clarification from Tracy on this and bring it to that asset management meeting for a little bit further discussion.
Okay. All right, I would take that recommendation then if council is agreeable. Certainly it obviously needs to be looked at again. So we would ask staff to add that to an asset management committee meeting. Thank you for that feedback, Councillor Harper, and we'll table that one. The next resolution moved by Councillor Shala and seconded by Councillor Harper. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin supports the resolution received by the Corporation of the Town of Gore Bay, resolution number 14850, which is an agreement with Phenom in that the current DSAPs would not be the best solution for overseeing Northern Ontario OPP detachments, and that they be so advised. And this was brought forward at your request, Councillor Shala, and you spoke to it, I believe, at the previous meeting. Any other comments or on this resolution? Hearing none, I would call the vote. Councillor Collins?
For.
Councillor Florent?
Or,
Councillor Harper?
Or
Councillor Bongo?
or
Councillor Shala?
or,
Councillor, sorry, that's carried. Councillor Vermeer is not here. We are finished the resolutions of council. Are there any notice of motions? Hearing none. We do not have any.
Mayor,
Oh, sorry.
Richard here. I'm just wondering, I recall we passed a motion. I don't have it in front of me. I don't know how to move back and forth in the system here at the same time as we've got this another screen up, but we passed a motion to operate during the emergency at the initial stages of COVID for you and the clerk to make decisions for council. Now that we are, I would say, in a more normalized operation of council, I'm just wondering whether that should be rescinded and that we should, whatever, I would have to read it, but I would like to look at it before the next meeting and possibly send it off with my recommendations to council so that our suggestions, and maybe we can, and if everybody agrees that we could go, maybe the motion could be prepared for the next meeting.
Okay, Carla, do you have any comment on that? Has that been rescinded through the laws of the province?
I believe as soon as the emergency order was lifted, that power was taken away.
But we will check on that, Richard, to see that if we actually have to go back and rescind that resolution that gave that authority to Holly and I. So thank you for bringing that up. We'll put that on our follow-up for this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
We do not have any bylaws at this meeting, and we are not have any requirement to go into closed session. So I'm on number 17 of the agenda, payment of accounts. I have a resolution moved by Councillor Florence, seconded by Councillor Collins. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin authorizes the payment of the bills as recorded for the meeting of September 2nd, 2020, batch 2020 00040 for $21,716.07.
It's 212,000.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
You said 21,000.
Okay.
A little
Thank
bit
you.
less.
Thank you, Councillor Harper, for the amount
You're
of $212,716.07 and batch 2020 -0042 for $82,311.82. Any further comments? Calling the vote, Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
Or
Councillor Harper,
Four.
Councillor Bongo,
4.
Councillor Shala.
Or
It's carried. I have resolution 18, moved by Councillor Harper, seconded by Councillor Bongo. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adjourns the regular meeting of September 2nd, 2020 at, I have 10:32.
Correct.
Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
or
Councillor Harper,
Four.
Councillor Bongo,
4.
Councillor Shala.
or
Very good. That adjourns our meeting. Thank you very much to everyone. And thank you, Carla. Good job.
Thanks, Carla.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.